The Arcturian Group, Energetic Upgrades to Restore Truth. Dear readers, know that all is proceeding according to plan, even as much of the world seems to move toward negativity and chaos. The divine plan is a series of energetic upgrades meant to restore truth to Earth's collective consciousness, which will serve to gradually bring about the dissolution of many familiar but false concepts and beliefs. God's creative expression of Earth has over time become heavily burdened with the creations of a three-dimensional collective consciousness. Many of these creations, ideas, beliefs, laws, etc., were necessary in a less evolved world, but now, as Earth's energy becomes higher and more real, they are becoming obsolete. Because these creations have no divine law to support them, they are starting to be seen and recognized for what they really represent, and then rejected, which will allow them to dissolve back into the nothingness they are and always have been. The increasing presence of high-resonating light energy now flowing to Earth as part of the Ascension process is causing pockets of ancient and long-dormant conflict energy to surface. Just as human beings are clearing dense energy from the present and past, so is Earth. A great deal of energy from wars, conflicts, and the human suffering involved must clear in order for Earth to shift into alignment with the higher frequencies of ascension. The result of this clearing process is that a great deal of long-suppressed information involving all aspects of life will begin to come to light. These exposures and revelations will serve to awaken many out of their present dream state, which is that of believing that they live only one life, are separate from God and others, are powerless, and that in order to survive must believe and do what the experts, government, and many organized religions tell them. The people of Earth are the only ones who can bring change. As Earth's collective consciousness becomes increasingly spiritually enlightened through the presence of so many evolved souls now on Earth, with more coming, the majority will have access to ideas that more closely reflect reality. Many have begun opening to ideas of oneness and are beginning to realize that life is not meant to be a series of disasters and pain. Humans, long hypnotized by beliefs of duality, separation, and many powers, have never understood that they themselves were creating the three-dimensional world of good and bad. Just as divine consciousness creates through expressing itself as infinite form and variety, humans, who are divine consciousness individualized, also create and manifest. Over time, and through a universal ignorance of God and oneness, humans have created the world you know and experience as one of duality, separation, and many powers, an illusory world that has hypnotized divine beings into believing that they were nothing more than powerless physical bodies with a mind. At some point, every seeker of truth must accept that God is the only power. You may ask, what about disease, war, lack, natural disasters, and limitations of every sort? Yes, the world that man has created from duality, separation, and many powers is alive and well and does function as power. God knows nothing about disease, lack, suffering, pain, etc., simply because these things are man-made creations that do not exist in divine consciousness. Praying to God to remove an illusion simply serves to strengthen and perpetuate it. Do you want to live in the world of God's creating or the world of man's creating? If disease was embodied in divine consciousness, it would remain forever permanent and held in place by divine law, never able to be healed or eliminated. If lack existed in divine consciousness, everyone would lack because everyone is divine consciousness individualized. The same is true of war, suffering, powers, and death. These things are the creations of a collective consciousness that over eons of time and thousands of lifetimes has become conditioned with beliefs of duality, separation, and powers other than the one power. Because divine consciousness, God, Source, is omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient, nothing other than divine consciousness exists, period. The dream of anything separate from God is the unreal dream that every person will at some point wake out of because it is false. The opportunities to do this are more powerful on Earth now than they have ever been due to the increasing presence of high-resonating energy on Earth. Help others as guided, while remaining centered in truth, which may simply be remembering that those you see causing problems are in reality divine beings. This is how you live in the world, but not of it. You who are drawn to these or other spiritual messages are on Earth by choice at this time, specifically to add the energy of your evolved state of consciousness to Earth's collective consciousness, which is opening and starting to shift beyond present three-dimensional density. Earth is a divine idea, an expression of divine consciousness, just as are humans, animals, plants, all nature, and an infinity of divine ideas not yet known about or able to be seen with human eyes. God does not, has not, is not, and could not create anything separate from itself because nothing exists. God is omnipresent. Only you can choose to open your consciousness to oneness with God and all that God is. You have free will and can continue to play the game of separation for as long as you desire. But remember that along with it will come the experiences of separation. The divine plan is a plan to restore reality. Trust the process. We are the Arcturian group.